Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're a brand new subscriber or brand new viewer. My name is Kyle and today I'm talking about Ferrari. This is the latest film directed by Mann and stars Adam Driver as Enzo Ferrari. The film is set during the 1950s and focuses on both his rise and financial struggles in the automobile industry and his fleeting relationship with his partner and his various infidelities. Now, like I said before, this movie is directed by Mann, who is, for many people, one of the great filmmakers of all time. I certainly agree with that sentiment. He's made one of my favorite films, Heat, which I own the Blu-ray for, but he's also made Manhunter, a movie I love very much, The Last of the Mohicans, and The Insider, as well as Collateral. I also own the Blu-ray for that too. He definitely has cemented himself as a terrific stylistic filmmaker, but definitely maintains a lot of great substance and especially subtext in his movies. And I was really hoping that he was going to apply that to this movie because I was very, very eagerly anticipating this film. So it is with a heavy heart that I have to say I was profoundly disappointed by this movie. When I left the theater, all I could think of was, well, that was just a whole bunch of, I guess, something, but it didn't really amount to anything truly exhilarating. And that's my biggest problem with the movie. I don't really want to make this review long, so I just want to get this out of the way. This movie feels like it's on autopilot. It doesn't feel like it ever really takes off. It doesn't feel like anyone is really controlling the shots. It just feels like we're going through the motions, making a very by-the-numbers biopic. But I gotta say, the biopic aspect of this movie is very strange to me. And it's something that, honestly, for a lot of 2023 biopics, I felt the exact same way with Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, and now this, which is, to me, they're focusing on either the wrong characters or what they're trying to focus on just is not what they should be focused on. With a movie like Ferrari, I should walk out of this movie feeling like, oh my god, I have just witnessed the greatest car in the world. They've taught me everything there is to know about this vehicle. I should really feel like I'm getting a history lesson, but rather I'm getting more of a romantic history lesson, and the history is kind of just pushed to the side. My goal with this review is not to just bash this movie because I don't think it's a bad movie, but I don't think it's a really good one either. I feel like it has some terrific moments and terrific scenes, but when you put them all together, it just feels like that. Scenes. It doesn't feel like you're watching a thorough line of a narrative. Now, in some movies, that can work, like in Pulp Fiction, but this is not Pulp Fiction. This is not trying to tell, four interconnected stories into one. This is trying to tell a story about a man that honestly I knew little about going in, and I still knew little about coming out. And unfortunately, I love Adam Driver. I think Adam Driver is a fantastic actor. I have seen it for years. I love him in Marriage Story, of course, as Kylo Ren in Star Wars. The man is a fantastic actor. But this is the first performance of his where I'm kind of not sure what he was trying to do here. Now, the biggest thing I will say is, if that is how Enzo Ferrari spoke, if that was his dialect, his manner of speaking, everything about it, then I guess I got nothing to criticize here. But if that is not how Enzo Ferrari spoke, I have to question both his acting and the direction by Mann, because Jesus Christ, this is a bland as hell performance. There is zero energy to this character. Now, there are moments in certain films where I say to myself, I see what they're trying to do here, but I'm just not feeling it, or it's just not executed in the way that I think they think it's being executed. And Ferrari, to me, is a prime cut of meat as an example of this. I don't think the way they wanted Enzo Ferrari to come across is the way it came across in the movie. I see what they're trying to do by making him be a very cold and calculating human being, and in certain aspects, I'm sure that's exactly how he was. But to really get an audience hooked into a character, you gotta add some energy to it, and I just didn't feel, honestly, any energy from Adam Driver's performance. It just felt very bland and stale. I literally just reviewed The Iron Claw, and when I talked about that movie, I said what really got me into it is the fact that it's a world that I knew very little about, but by the end of the movie, I felt like I learned enough about it for me to really come away thinking it was very good. But at the same time, it got me intrigued. It fascinated me about this world and the people who inhabit it, and it made me actually want to start doing research into the world of wrestling. Ferrari kind of does the exact opposite because there's a lot of things I know about the automobile industry, especially with the Ferrari, and yet coming away from it, I don't feel like I gained any knowledge of it. And it's particularly because the movie is more interested in talking about his relationship with his wife, played by Penelope Cruz, who in my opinion gives the best performance in the movie by far. I think she is excellent in this film, and it's just a shame because her scenes are so limited, but she's great in every single one of them, and that's what delivers a powerhouse of a supporting performance. But again, it's bogged down because she really doesn't have a lot to do in this movie. Now, I will say, it was a bit of a surprise when I saw that Shailene Woodley was playing Ferrari's lover in the film. I haven't seen Shailene Woodley in a movie for years, so when I saw her on the screen, I was like, oh, wow, I haven't seen you in a long time. But like with Penelope Cruz, she doesn't really have a lot to do in this movie, and this is really what the big focus of the film is on. Now, the one thing I did know about this movie, outside of the trailer, and of course who directed it and who's starring in it, is there was a panel in which somebody had mentioned to Adam Driver that he thought the crash sequences were very silly and very over the top, and Adam Driver told him to go F himself. I knew that before seeing the movie. So when I sat down to watch it, I kept thinking, okay, so one of these crash sequences is going to happen, and what are they going to look like? I'm thinking to myself, I don't think it's going to be that crazy. And then the first crash sequence happened, and I sat there going like, I think I completely understood what that guy was saying, and I just sat there feeling very indifferent about it. Now, the audience surrounding me, it was almost like Hot Fuzz was playing on the screen. They were in utter hysterics. At the end of the day, I just found this movie to be very forgettable. Like, it kind of went in one ear and out the other. I don't feel like I really went on a journey in this film. I don't feel like I really learned that much of anything in this movie. And by the time we got to the end, which by the way, I thought was extremely abrupt, I kept thinking, this is how the movie ends? Michael Mann has notoriously been known to have had his movies butchered in the editing room. And my hope is that there is an extended cut that really fleshes out a lot of the characters and the storylines. I'm going to give Ferrari a C+. Now, I know that grade is quite low, especially for a Michael Mann film, but there are a couple of bad movies that Michael Mann has directed, so it's not like his filmography has always been perfect. There are a couple of definitely very flawed movies he's made, but this is definitely on the lower echelon, and I really feel bad because I was eagerly anticipating this movie. I was very excited for it, and when I was watching it, all I could think about was, man, this could have been so much better. And I don't know why they just couldn't have made the movie better, especially with its $100 million production budget. But anyways, guys, if you stuck to the end of this review, what did you think about Ferrari? Did you like it a lot more than I did? Are you kind of on the same page as me, or did you outright hate it? Let me know down in the comment section below. And in the meantime, as I said, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. The links in my social media pages are all in the description box below, as well as my business website, kggpictures.com. The link is also in the description box below. Again, thank you all so much as always for watching, and stay tuned.